Okay.
One meeting order, 6:32. Pledge of allegiance.
I salute the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3, roll call, please.
Okay. Al Barcelo, Irene Run,
Present.
Julia Lewis,
Present.
Ernest Bustamante,
Present.
Annie Martinez,
Here.
Joe Dietz,
We
and
have a
Michael
full
Martinez.
quorum. Thank you,
Here.
everybody. Item number 4. Item number 4, call to the public, early sign-ins, sign in. Excuse me.
Rich Sanchez, the first one. Rick? Oh, there you go. Oh, you know what?
Good evening, council,
Thank you.
honorable mayor, vice mayor. I'd like to discuss this item number 7, the closing of the parks. You know, I see you're gonna close them to save money. Okay, which parks are they gonna be?
There is no decision made. We are in discussion phase. We've been looking at a lot of vandalism. A lot.
Okay, so it's not, you don't know if you're gonna close them, you're just in the discussion phase.
Yeah. But to go further, there's also that, and we've did this before when we had another discussion, was that possibly rezone our parks for something else. Because we're still looking for that helipad. We're still tossing it around, so we'll have a good discussion on that.
Okay.
We won't make a decision without proper notice to the public. You know, we'll go through all the right steps and get input.
Okay, and the second part of my thing is, I thank Hector for letting us use the softball field for the landing zone. That's really been useful for us. We've saved a lot of lives. If we could get AMR to kind of reciprocate and help us, because I don't know if the council's aware of what's happened. Kearney has taken 3014, the only ambulance we have in this area. They've taken them up to Kearney because Cobra Valley Hospital is in the money phase. They want a lot of money. So they are putting people's lives at risk in this tri-community. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we've had 26 helicopters come in here. That's how many, that's unusual for a fire department. Okay, we had 5 last week. We had 3, that's a lot. Okay, but again, the soccer field was great, but we almost had a near accident out there. The helicopter came in, he tried to land, he got dusted out. Those engines, they suck that dirt, that fine dust. So we've asked, I think Hector knows about it, to seed the soccer field.
We do have plans to do that, but there's other things in the mix too.
Because that would be, the softball field is nice, but that would be ideal, because it's away from the public. We don't have that danger of, if the helicopter goes down, we're not gonna kill a bunch of people.
We also have to consider the road going into it. If the rain's so bad, that road is in bad shape.
Exactly.
So we're keeping that in mind as well.
We're acceptable to anything that you want we're willing to sit down with the council. Okay?
Mhm.
As a board of the fire district, we're willing to sit down with you and discuss it. So thank you for your time and thank you for allowing us that again. Yeah, Mayor.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks a lot.
Rick.
So Rick, I just want to let you know, because we can like respond to things that you bring up, and I just wanted to let you know quickly, one of the things that I talked to Hector on is I did some digging about that grant that was used to secure the soccer field. And I think if we get Public Works to look at possibly backing that road up further so that it would come down, start the slope further back behind the dialysis center and down, we would be able to pave a large chunk of the soccer field right there next to those restrooms without compromising the scale of the field and violating the contract for the youth sports. So with the seating and then us putting in an actual concrete pad for it, it should be fine. I know PHI has threatened to pull contracts because of the fact that they don't have a safe place to land. So that's something that Hector and I actually just discussed this week.
Yeah, and thank you for that. But what another thing that I think maybe the council could look at this, and with the attorney, maybe you guys can look at this. Superior just got 2 heliports put in. Okay, they were given a grant by the Arizona Department of Transportation. Okay, that's something that we can look at because, you know, it costs a lot of money. I mean, we're talking, you know, $700,000-800,000 to put a heliport in. And that's just a small one. You know, these birds that land here, you know, sometimes they're big. They're bigger than what, you know,
Normal.
so we've got to make sure that, but that's something the council can look at. I'm just suggesting that.
No, it's good information to have because it gives Hector another avenue to start looking for grants there.
Yeah. I talked to the mayor because I sit on the boards in Florence, and we were talking to Mayor about that, and she told me, get with your council and have them call me and I'll explain how we did it.
And that was the mayor in Florence?
No, that was the mayor in Superior.
Okay.
So who do you suggest they could reach out to start a conversation on who they, you know, how they went about it, which grant? I know you mentioned Department of Transportation, just to get some more information on how they did.
What I would I would go to the council in Superior, the mayor, or the vice mayor, and get how they, so the article is in the Minor.
Yeah.
Okay, there was a big article on it where they gave them the 2 heliports. And that's something that, I mean, people don't realize, you know, you just can't land that helicopter like we used to land it at the cemetery.
Right.
Well, you know, the pilots, you know, they're old Vietnam pilots. These guys, you know, they can land land here.
Yeah.
But when they come in and they do what they call a hard nose, when it dips and almost crashes, you know, we could have had we could have killed 3 people on that plane, on that helicopter, had that. But the pilot said, that life, I needed to get it down.
Yeah.
And he did. He got it down. And then that's when Hector suggested to Chief Miranda, use a softball field.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Well, I
I'm
think,
glad that cooperation is starting to
yeah.
nurture now.
And
I'm glad for that.
I think the council understands that we've got to find a solution before like April,
Right.
because starting in April, then we're going to end up with a situation where you've got kids on the field
Exactly.
and now you've got to land a helicopter and they're in the middle of a game. You've got all that traffic, so you can't even get a fire truck or an ambulance or a police truck down there. So I think everybody understands that there's some urgency to this to make sure that we have a solution. So I can guarantee you it's something that is being talked about.
Yeah, and like I said, we're willing to sit down with you and suggest, you know, put input, because you know what? If we can't work together
Yeah.
as a community, then the hell with it.
Yeah.
You know, just, let's close up shop and
Yeah.
say, you know, the hell with it.
Yeah.
But once you
Rick,
start,
I
I'm sorry.
think that the mayor had the idea of that rezoning the senior league field and do a helipad there. And you got the road, you know, that going up there instead of that soccer field.
Do you think that might be too close to the residents in that
Yeah.
neighborhood there?
No,
Yes.
That's too far out. That's too far
Okay.
out.
The senior
we're
league
not-
field, I think you've got all those houses right there because it's literally right there behind the park. That one's
It's
too
far away
close.
from the.
That area wouldn't, I mean, personally, I wouldn't put it up there.
Yeah, I
For the
don't
only
think it's a
reason,
good
the only
idea.
reason that road is too narrow,
Yes,
okay? Because this is Mammoth.
right,
You got all the nosy rosies
yes.
that wanna come and see the helicopter land,
Yes,
and guess what? Then the ambulance can't get in,
right.
okay? That's what we're
Yeah.
fighting with the
And if you
church
have
right
it
now.
at the soccer field, then you're far enough away from where everybody's at.
Exactly.
Nobody really knows unless they're coming in or out of town that it's even going in there. And by the time they realize something has landed, they're already taking off.
And I will make one last comment, okay? We are willing, our fire department, we are willing to cut the grass. If, for some reason, the city guys can't do it, call us, give us a heads up. We got a guy that'll operate that riding mower. He'll cut it. I mean, if we can't work together, then you know what, like I say,
Interagency
close the damn doors.
Yes,
Because it's no sense in fighting and being childish and saying,
Right.
this is mine, you can't play with it.
Right.
No, hell no. This is for the public. This is for people. You can't put a price on a person's
Right.
life. Okay, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Rick.
Rick.
Okay, is anybody else? sign up?
Yes, there is.
Sign up?
Any Martinez?
Mayor, Council, I want to remind you, this is called public, it's not a discussion item, so we should.
so I just wanted to update everybody really quickly on the Boo Bash. So we are all set to go through and get that kicked off and get that started. It's gonna be hopefully our first annual Boo Bash. There's a lot of different vendors that are coming out. There is the fire department involvement. They're gonna bring a fire truck, set it up. They've got goodie bags for the kids that they're gonna hand out. We've got commitments from all of our, town departments except for one, which I'm hoping we can secure tonight. Maybe you.
Oh, we're already set to have 4 guys there.
Oh, perfect. So we've got a booth for every town agency. So this was gonna be our first actual town collaborative event. I'm super excited and I'm super stoked. However, the one piece that is always lacking is the council. And I'm speaking to you not just as a council member, but tonight I'm actually speaking to you as a resident, as a taxpayer, and as a voter. There are several council members that are at every single town function. If there's a fire, they're there to help out. If there's a urgency and people are without power and we're opening the shelter, those people are always the same ones there. It's the same faces over and over and over and over again. So I'm going to ask and I'm going to urge each of you, because we're live streaming, so this is going out into the internet, that all of you that don't participate in this, show up. It's on the 25th. It's from 6 to 9. We're not asking you to work. We're not asking you to do anything except for come, hand out some candy, help us judge some booths. People are signing up to set up trunks to do that. We've got prizes for the best trunks. We've got prizes for the best kids. We're doing secret contests that we're not announcing yet. They're just going to be announced at the final thing. You guys will all know beforehand. All we're asking is that you show up, you spend an hour, a half an hour. If you can do 2 hours, perfect. But show the town and show all of your employees that we are one town and that going forward, we are working together collaboratively for the best of the town, and that we're not just asking for votes and then not doing anything to be productive for the town. That we're actually participating and working and doing the things that we need to do to get this done. It's gonna look really crappy if Public Works, Town Hall, the police department, the fire department all has a booth and everybody's there. And you walk up to the town council booth and there's the same 3, 4, 5 faces and the same people are missing all the time, because next year's a voting year and people remember these things and it's on the internet now, so it's out there for everybody to see. So you've all been cordially invited. Please show up, please participate. Let's show the town that we're behind them in everything that we're asking them to do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody else?
I'll be there.
A list?
No.
Oh, okay. You. Item number 5 was information on the thing, because we were on call to the public on this item. Item number 5, Discussion on the batch, what's organized, is that item number 5?
Oh,
Everybody
Yeah.
speak to that? Just
Did you want to speak to that again, or?
so I can just say, like, some of the vendors that we have, we're gonna have face painting. We've invited Arizona Youth Coalition to come out and hang out with us. We're gonna have, there's gonna be the snow cone truck, right?
Yep.
The snow cone truck's gonna come out and hand out stuff. They're gonna be there too. Kids that are coming and they're coming in costume are gonna get a free hot dog. The town, Hector, me, hopefully some of the other council members will be grilling food to sell. We're gonna do hamburgers if the adults wanna purchase a meal, or if the kids don't want a hot dog, they want a hamburger, they can purchase a meal. The Lions Club has donated food and beverage. I mean, it's collaboratively an effort with everybody, and we're hoping that this is gonna help bring things together. The planning committee, as soon as Halloween is over, is gonna start working on Christmas. I can give you a sneak peek just briefly and tell you that we're looking at getting a 12 to 18-foot metal Christmas tree that we will string with lights. We're looking at putting that up somewhere in town so that we actually have a Christmas holiday celebration where people can buy an ornament, put it on the tree. All of that money will go to help future things like Easter egg hunts, just things for the town to do collectively. We're a small town, right? We're a small town, Mammoth, Arizona. We should behave like a small town and have some of these group activities that bring everybody together. So with the Boo Bash, it's free to enter. There's no charge for people to enter in. They can come. There's going to be a live DJ. They're going to have a photo op booth for people that want to take photos in costume. It's going to be a really great time. It's 2 hours. It's going to be a lot of fun. And so I urge everybody to help pass the word around. And then if you have questions, contact any of your council members, or you can contact Hector at Town Hall. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope to see everybody there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item number 6, informational discussion of our water update. And Hector, you have information?
I invited Nathan Estes. He's the one that does our water testing to the meeting. He said he'd show up. Nathan, are you, hey, okay, come on up, please. I asked him to give us an update on that, and then if he could answer any questions that the council has.
Hello, Mayor and Council. I'm Nathan Estes. I'm with Skinny Horse Services. We operate your water and wastewater systems. So we took lead and copper samples. We take them every year. It's an annual thing. We have 10 sites that we take them from. And this year we had 2 of them that tested positive for lead. One of them is Town Hall, and the other one was wastewater treatment plant. So both the wastewater treatment plant, I can tell you exactly why that one is. It's because we don't use a whole lot of water there, and it's very end of the system. And so that is problematic because it can just build up and there's not a whole lot of flushing going through. Town Hall, not exactly sure why that one popped. So it's going to be, we're going to do a little bit of digging on that. I've been in contact with George, George England is our ADEQ rep for Pinal County. And he is informed me that next year, most every system is going to go through corrosive testing. Because in Arizona, we had to do, last year we had to do a lead and copper, how do I want to say this? Basically a service line inventory of all the service lines. And when they were put in, and because we were incorporated in Mammoth in 1958, that was the time frame for lead lines, right? Now, the good thing about Arizona is we're west of the Mississippi, and we're a copper town, right? So we used copper instead of lead. Most of the lead is just in our lead joints that were soldered in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, right up until the probably mid-90s, and then they quit soldering with lead. So it's not a big deal. The reason that we had to put out a notice is October of last year, ADEQ put in a new rule that if you have more than 10% of your lead and coppers come back with any anomaly, you had to put out a tier 1 notice, which is normally, for you have call forms or something weird happen, something big. Well, it's not really that big. It's just a thing that you have to do because it's the new rule. So the next year, so go back to Mr. George, he informed me, like I said, that most everybody's going to have to do conductivity or corrosive testing next year. And we're going to be no different. We're going to have to test for temperature, pH, conductivity, turbidity, and possibly some other things, but that's, we have another system that we help operate in Duncan, and they have that exact same. They've had one lead that has given them issues, and then they didn't take care of it, and so now they're on advanced monitoring, which monthly we have to do every one of these. Now, he told me it's going to be like every 6 months, so it's not that big of a deal. That's basically the update. Do you have any questions for me?
I have a couple questions. So the town hall one that tested positive for lead, is the town hall on its own separate well and separate lines from everybody else?
No, ma'am.
So if residents around here, around town hall, want to have their water tested, is there companies that they should call? Is there a charge to see if their house has lead in their water, or how does this?
So if they want it tested, I'd have to get you a price on how much the cost for the test is.
Okay,
And it's not going to be super expensive but it is very labor intensive. It takes them about a month to do the lead and copper test because they have to leach it all out of the water, and don't ask me to explain it because it's very complicated and I'm not a lab person. I'd like to be a lab person, but I'm not that smart.
too much math, right?
No, actually, the math isn't the problem, it's the
Oh,
chemistry
okay.
that's the problem.
Yeah.
But no, so there's a very complicated way that they do it. And so, but I can get you a price on that, and they can call me. And I
Okay.
can get you my number. I've got some.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you could, because I've
have
talked to several residents that are around town hall, that are all fed off of this, because I was under the impression that the town hall was on the same well as like half of Lower Mammoth. And so,
Well, actually, the whole entire town cumulatively comes off of both wells.
okay,
So how the town works is whichever well is feeding at the moment is feeding to the tanks, and then it's kind of an interesting way to put it, but as it goes by your house, so say you're on the way to the tank on the main line, you'll siphon off of that well,
okay,
and then when the well shuts off, when the tank comes to level or pressure, which is due to height, it will you backfeed from that tank.
okay. I've got
So-
several people around town hall on Clark Street, some down here on Main Street that would like to have their water tested because
Oh, yes,
they were
100%.
pretty freaked out, and they're now drinking nothing but bottled water. So if you could get me cards
Yeah,
for people
I'll
to
get you
call
some
you,
cards and
or
we
if you
have
can
somebody-
give that information to Hector so we can get it out, just so that our residents have some
Yeah, and we'll totally come do the
form
testing.
of like action that they can take so that they don't just feel that they're just like out here on an island with lead water and nothing.
Oh, definitely not. No, actually lead, so the, what do you want to call it? The danger.
Do you know how many parts per million were actually in the water? Because the notice that we got didn't have that for copper or for lead. Do you
So
have
it was
those numbers?
lead, both of them were lead.
Okay,
And the threshold is 15 parts per million, and they were at 19 parts per million.
okay.
I wanted to ask you,
Yes,
okay, when this tested positive, how come you, like Annie's saying, how come you didn't go take samples like this water's coming from Little Hollywood well?
so this is, right now, I believe we're running well 4.
Yeah.
Because well
What
5 is
other
out.
contaminations, since you guys do the testing, I think you should have tested like maybe Clark Street and down this way too.
So we actually did. So we have 10 sites that we've tested, and these were the only 2 that tested positive.
So that is.
So we have sites that are around, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
So we have 10 sites around town. We picked them because they're in different sections that we believe will give us a good, homogeneous idea of what the town has. And they all have to be within that 1950s to 1980s, date period. And we chose when I first came on, they didn't have any sites. And then ADEQ come back and called me and they're saying, "Where's your sites?" And I said, "Well, I don't know." And so then we went back and between ADQ and I, we went together and picked the 10 sites because of the dates the houses were built and because of the the area that they were in. So there was a couple on Clark Street. There's a couple that were down in this area. They're just kind of sprinkled out. And this one just happened to test positive. Now, that could have been because the sink or the whatever like if they pulled it from a sink that isn't used all the time, that hasn't been used for months, it will leach the copper out, no matter what. And that's what you find at the wastewater treatment plant. They use it maybe once every couple of weeks, maybe every month to spray down the bar screen. And that's all the usage that happens at the treatment plant. Now, when we used to sprinkle the field, we used to sprinkle the field a lot more and get our chlorine and everything going down there, and it was a lot better. But it's not the main lines or the well that is the problem. It's the service lines in people's houses.
Do you know if it was from the sink?
I don't
Like
know where
here,
they took
you
it.
don't know where they took the
No.
sample. Do you know where they took the sample from?
From the sink.
In the
sink here.
bathroom? So that gets used pretty
So it gets used
frequently.
pretty good. So it's a possibility that it was just some, like I said. So we're in
Okay.
All the samples came from a bathroom.
they're all
Okay.
supposed to be either bathroom or kitchen sink.
Yeah.
Okay,
According to the guidelines that we sent all the residents, it's supposed to be bathroom, kitchen sink, and it's supposed to be first draw in the morning. So it's supposed to let it set overnight. And then that way it allows, we want it to make sure that in 24 hours, it doesn't leach into your water and then cause a problem. And, yeah.
I live in Little Hollywood and I had mine tested. I got a letter in the mail and it says 5.
Yeah, 5 parts per, and it's normal to have between 0 and 15. It's when it goes to 19 or anything over 15, then we have to have an action. And it's because they found that that's the threshold that causes issues, mostly with kids.
so if you can, I don't know about any of the other council members, but if you could get us a card, Hector could always make copies of that so that we
No,
all
I'll
have
just
it.
get stacked.
And then if you can, let Hector know, like, how people can go about doing it, we can put that on our website so that the people that don't get cards from us directly can access that on the website.
You can put my name and number all over the website, whatever
Okay,
you want.
perfect.
And I'm okay with them calling me as long as it's not 2 in the morning. But I'm okay with getting called at 2 in the morning, just not every night.
Right.
I have a question.
Yes.
At what part per million point is there a hard shut-off? How close would be that?
Oh, not even close.
No.
We're barely over the maximum
Is
capacity.
it 30, 32?
So you would have to have between 50 and 100 to make it complete, where we completely shut the whole system on. And we're so far from that. Like I said, luckily we're in the western United States, everything west of the Mississippi, and we're a copper town. Like I said, so most of our lines are copper. When this all came about, so just so you know how the lead copper rule came about through the EPA, is everybody remembers Flint, Michigan, right? And how they had that big lead issue. Well, what happened, has anybody ever told you what actually happened in that whole scenario? So they had a council just like this that was for the town, and they decided to go with the cheaper water source that they had. They had a water source that was 1 pH, and then they decided that they were going to go with this cheaper water source, and so this other just cut them off. So they had to go with this other water source, and they didn't test the pH. They didn't think about any of that, and then they have actual lead lines going to the houses from the meters. And so it took all that more corrosive water, took all that lead and shoved it into the houses. And, yeah, that is a scary situation. And that was when you have like your 100 parts per million and all of a sudden like everybody shut down. So what they had to do is they had to go back to their other water source until they figured out how to mitigate that pH, which is a huge ordeal. We don't have that problem because our pH is in pretty good shape. We're right around 7, good and normal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We do have we will be able to do all that testing. We've got, like I said, we already do it for another town. It's really not a big deal for us to do that testing.
So my last question is gonna be, so you came out and tested this, now it's tested positive. How long are you gonna wait before you retest the 2 that turned out positive now?
I'm waiting on ADQ to tell me when we need to test those.
Okay, so they will be the ones to
They're the
say,
ones, so how it works is ADQ tells us what we're supposed to do.
Okay.
Once we get to this point, we are in their loving hands.
okay,
So
Their protocols.
Their protocols, yeah, and that's the thing is, it's different for every town. We've never had one pop. So it's kind of like, new territory for Mammoth. Like, we've never had one have a problem. This is the first year I've ever had a problem with this. Now, we've had other systems. My brother and I have a twin brother and we run the things together, but we've had other systems pop, like Duncan and Pima and some of these others, but we've never had one here.
Is ADEQ gonna tell you how to mitigate it if they're?
Correct.
Okay.
And so all the testing, so he told me the beginning of next year, they're gonna get with us and they're gonna help us with the testing, possibly the cost of the testing, and tell us exactly what we need to test and how we need to test it. We're already doing the preliminary testing for our wastewater. They've added some wastewater tests that we have to take monthly for a whole year. I'm not real excited about this, but it's one of those where we have to have a baseline for a year. And so we have to have tests every month for a year, which is kind of
Redundant.
pain in the rear. Because we've never tested high on any of the things that we already test them quarterly, and we've never tested high on any of the things that they're wanting us to test.
So are there gonna be any recommendations, maybe like here, don't drink the water or?
The recommendations for those that tested positive, so like in this building, and well, nobody's drinking the water at the treatment plant, hopefully. I don't have a problem drinking water at the wastewater treatment plant, but I've been doing water and wastewater on a long time. But the recommendation is for like town hall would be to flush the water for a good 30 minutes first thing in the morning. And then after that, it's good, because you just don't have that stagnant water sitting.
30 minutes? That's a lot of water at our water rates.
Maybe use it for a garden or something?
Yeah, so
That's
they-
a lot of water to
They
waste.
give you the protocols to
Yeah,
follow.
and they give you the
and that's
protocol,
it.
on that,
Especially every day.
what's
Go
it
take a
called?
shower.
No.
The,
30 minutes.
on the piece of paper, the thing that we send out, it has all the protocols that ADQ recommends. And I can't remember if it's 30 minutes or 30 seconds. Now you've got me. Damn it.
It's okay, we'll just advise everybody.
But yeah,
30
it's
minutes
whatever
shower.
what's on that sheet is what they advised us to do.
Okay,
And so it's in that little section that says this is what you need to do if you.
and that's the paper that you gave Hector?
Correct.
Okay, so that
That's
was
the
only
one that
30
was-
seconds.
Hung up. Okay, so it's 30 seconds. There you go then. So-
Okay,
$800 water bill.
I know, right?
Like 30 seconds, not 30 minutes.
Yeah, 30
30
seconds is what was on the paper. It's okay,
And
give
like-
me a heart attack.
And like they say, you're drawing from a very good source. Drawing water.
Our sources are very good. We have very good sources. They're a little hard, but I will tell you right now, I worked for Safford Water for 20 years. This water here is much better than theirs
Okay,
for groundwater, the groundwater.
Mhm.
Now, they have a natural spring that comes down, and sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not. But as far as the groundwater here is superb. It
Okay.
is great. I wouldn't have a better water.
If you want a brewery, start it here.
Yeah.
You're the water guy.
Hey,
Joe knows a lot about water. Some other guys here, I tell people we have very good water. We have a good source.
Yeah, you do. You have two really good wells. We're having, there's been ups and downs with well 5. We get a well
Looking at you,
five,
Bill.
relationship,
we do.
but I think we're trying to work on that. And we've been trying to work on that since we started.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Is there any other questions you have for me on anything?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for your
Thank you,
presentation.
Nathan.
Thank you, Nathan.
just please give Hector your information if you decide to dip out before the meeting's over.
Yeah,
I'll give him some cards. I'll go to the truck right now.
Okay, you don't have to run out, I was just saying, before you leave,
I better do it
Please,
now. I'll
Mr.
forget.
don't forget.
Yeah. Okay, can we get that? Oh, okay, we have paperwork passed out. Okay, continuing item number 7. Well, we have this, informational and discussion cut. Item number 7, discussing where we're at with the parks, our park system. Like I said, we can have an open discussion with the council. We're using one of the parks, as a landing helipad temporary. We have some parks that have been vandalized and vandalized and vandalized. And I guess it's fun to vandalize, but it's also costly. We've had the tables turned over, I don't know how many times. And we've had the fences knocked down. The last time I checked, the chain link fence and all that, so what do we, I'm telling the council, it's time to do something here. And I think I've said it pretty strong in some senses that we do have two good parks. We do have a park, the Isidro Reese, very good park, very good. I think the council, we're pretty much in agreement. We see that we have a very good bones in that park. It's worth investing money. Now, the park above it, with the baseball field, there is no league, there is no activity. It'd be a good multi-purpose facility. It'd be a good candidate to rezone for something. We do have some monies for the road. I think we talked before that if you have a park, I think we can commit ourselves to getting that street paved. We commit ourselves to doing other things, lighting, paint jobs, and this and that. But what I vision is that if we can take that big area, discuss it among ourselves and get some input and see what's the best thing. Do we want to put housing up there? Do we want to do something else, a multi-purpose field, rent it out and do something? Do we want to rezone and sell the property, bring some money back? And what do we do to the other parks where we keep getting hit with the vandalism? Where, I don't know, do we have to anchor the tables and chairs and the cement ones because they've been knocked over a couple times? So I just wanted to open it up to anybody in the council who have any idea. We do have, like I say, we do have to do something here. We do have to look for space for a helipad. So I think that we're not just open it up for discussion to see if anybody got any ideas. But we will be in a discussion only situation here. Nothing is in concrete or set in stone. I'm going to be trying to get some input as well. Anything, even like if we decide to say, hey, we want to rezone one of our properties, or what do we do? What do we do if we decide, let's make this a permanent helipad? And how are we going to fix the continuous vandalism on the other ones? Because we do have an issue of that, the fence on the park in Fifth Street, it's gotten worse, and some other things also. So I yield the floor. Whoever wants to add to the discussion.
Well, Mayor, if I can, I agree with you on the vandalism that's happening up at the park on Fifth. I've been by there at different times of the day and different times of the evening, and I never see anybody up there. There are cars backed in up on the road above that, where the park that you're talking about, there's cars parked back there. So I don't know if people are hiking up there. It's a good place to hike. It's very in touch with nature. But my suggestion would be to do, like you said, is to close that park. There's not many people that use that park. Take the cement park benches and the tables that are up there. We could use them at one of the other parks. Take the fence down so that it's not being vandalized. There's no lighting up there, so the kids can't even play basketball up there or tennis because it's dark. Once it gets dark, we're coming into the winter months. I agree with you that the senior league field would be a great area to repurpose for any number of things. I know that when we talked about the senior league field before, we talked about doing a huge area where we could do music concerts, where we could do swap meets, where we could do any number of things. And I think that would be a great place to do that. I will tell you that I disagree with some of the other comments about the helipad being put up there. There's too many people so I digress and disagree just a little bit with you, Mr. Sanchez. My thing with putting it up there isn't so much the looky-loos. You're gonna have those no matter where you put it, unless you put it at the softball or soccer fields. But my thing is people will start complaining about the noise. The people that are not trying to be looky-loos are gonna complain, and they're gonna be like, why are you landing a helicopter here at 2 o'clock in the morning? I've gotten those calls already for the softball field. People don't want the noise. Forget the fact that somebody's dying and in need of extreme medical care. People are complaining because the helipads wake them up. I think the senior league field would just be great to do town events on. It's far enough away from the highway that we wouldn't run into a parking situation, because you would have all of that desert area on the upper level of the senior league field that's flat. People could drive up there and park. We could put steps in. They could walk down to the senior league field. There's a number of things that could be used up there if you wanted to look at doing little tiny homes. I mean, there's any number of things that can be done up there. My thing is the parks that I think that we need to really work to preserve are going to be the park up here at the Little League field, because a lot of kids use that. They use it for Little League. They use it during the summertime to go up and play basketball. There's lights up there. They do games up there. It's a good place for us to hold different events, like we're doing the Boo Bash. Obviously the softball field, that makes us some money. I mean, we do tournaments there pretty frequently, and so we have girls that play soccer or softball there during the summer. I don't think that one should be changed. I don't think we should close the park over next to the senior league field, because people come, rent it, do parties. I think, yeah,
I think we agreed to that.
I think all
We're all
of
in
those
agreement.
are the parks that we need to
That's all we're
preserve.
gonna enhance.
I think those are where we need to take and spend our money. So I think for me, I suggest just like going up. I know we're not making any formal motions, but my idea would be to relocate what we can from the park on Fifth. So any park benches, any tables. I don't know if the hoops are any good up there. I know that we're always replacing stuff, but maybe Public Works can do something to salvage the poles in case a pole breaks at the Little League field. You can put a pole in, salvage whatever we can from that park, and then just tear the fences down and just let it be nature. People hike from the cemetery up through there anyway to get back up into Little Hollywood. Just turn it back into nature and let it be what it'll be. Then we don't have to worry about the vandalism. We don't have to worry about kids up there doing things they shouldn't, or other people up there doing things that they shouldn't. But I disagree, and I don't think that that's a good place for a helipad, just because you have all of the people in Little Hollywood. They're going to be doing looky-loos. They're going to congest that. That area is already congested anyway during summer with people coming and going to the pool. You throw in people trying to look to see what's going on with the helicopter, people coming out of their houses. It's going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess, and I foresee complaints from people about the noise. I don't think it's a good place. I think if you're going to look at the helipad, Public Works needs to go out, take measurements of the soccer field, make the road from the dialysis center to the soccer field shorter, so that we can add that acreage, or that, not acreage, but that yardage on the south end of that field, seed it, put the helipad on the north end of the field, and then there you go. Everybody wins. We're still keeping the soccer field in case soccer ever does get back up and get started. It was also used at one point for tackle football, so that's another thing that can be used up there. We're still preserving that yardage. We're just moving it south a little bit, and then reseed it, put the helipad up there, and everybody's good.
Please explain the conditions for getting that grant for the soccer field.
The grant was done in it was titled over to the town. It was done with an earmark that said that land can only be used for youth sports. That was what that land was donated for, and it was earmarked that it was youth sports. And my understanding is that if we deviate from that and we just say, okay, we're just gonna put in a helipad up there, and we put it in, we're in violation, and then we have to pay the fair market value for what that land is today. And with as much as real estate has gone up, I'm assuming land values have also gone up. And I mean, why pay for something that we already have for free? But if we keep the length of the soccer field or the football field, and we just move it down more, so instead of coming down a long embankment and then down to the field, we just back that road up, have them clear out more of that high wall that surrounds it. Then you add that yardage onto the south side of the field, freeing up an area on the north side of the field where we can still put a helipad.
Okay, on the park, I think we have to have a public hearing, so anybody that's interested, have residents come and,
Yeah,
but, yeah, we should do, get rid of, maybe move the benches to Cedar Ridge Park or something.
Yeah.
But we need input from the public. Also to the helipad, that's all spec, right? If you do a helipad, it's spec like, cement and what you use and all that, right?
Okay,
The diameter.
the federal FAA regulates helipads, okay? What Andy's saying is absolutely right. But here's the bad part. Here's something that nobody builds helipads because you have to have so much concrete and you have to have a fence around it. So we could not put a fence. If we put a helipad out there, we can't put a fence on that because that is designated youth.
It has conditions on the land,
Right, so,
on the use.
I mean, so we're gonna have to find an area that's compatible for everybody. Because if we put it out there, then we can't put a fence, number one. Number two, it's expensive. I mean, we got a bid of $850,000 to put a helipad, okay? And that was just the concrete, because it has to be 6-inch padding, okay? And it's gotta be so many PSI per square inch, tensile strength, because if you don't have it, once that helicopter comes in, it could crack that concrete. So you have to have a specific amount.
Do you need rebar in the concrete
It's
itself?
rebarred, it's rebarred
It's good.
north to south, east to west.
maybe what we could do is have Bill and Hector go up because the town owns the land above the elementary school. Because the town has held on to that back in the 50s when they combined us with Salmonwell. The town was gonna put a high school up there. And then we ended up merging and the Salmonwell was like, Magma was like, we'll put the high school. But the town still owns that land above the school. So I don't know if we could clear off a section of that acreage behind Mammoth Elementary. Nobody's using it up there anymore. We could, if we could find a way to get a road up to there and clear off a spot, then you're out of the way of residents because there's a pretty big desert area between, what is that road up there? Oh God, I don't even remember the name of the road. On the other side of the tracks. No, it's on the, so behind the railroad.
In the Hetzel.
Yeah, like way up in the,
Hetzel
yes.
Ranch, yes.
So there's a big thing of desert between there and the elementary school, but all of that land belongs to the town. So if we could find a spot up there and find a way to get a road to that, that would be a pretty good place because you could put the helipad, you could put a fence, you wouldn't have looky-loos, you would be far enough back away from Highway 77 that if a helipad comes in, you're only gonna see it flying over. You're not necessarily gonna see that it's going right there. That might be something worth looking into because then it's a win-win for everybody and you're not having looky-loos, you're not having noise complaints, and it's safe for the planes to land. Because I know PHI has mentioned to the fire department several times that they're gonna cancel the contract.
If someone's got a complaint over a helicopter coming in, that person has a problem. Because that helicopter represents only one thing. Somebody
Yes.
has to get to the hospital fast. So, come on, folks.
Mayor, Councilman.
But we're just in discussion only.
We're off topic.
Yeah.
Topic is the parks.
Parks, yeah, okay. Okay, on the parks.
Yeah.
Thank you for the,
So maybe if
anything on the
Hector
parks?
could put on our next town agenda to do a public hearing before our town council meeting for parks. And then that way we can get town input on
narrowing it
moving
down.
down the stuff from Fifth Street and relocating it places before it gets damaged and we just out the money.
Anything further discussion on item number 7? Okay. Item number 8. Due to Microsoft's notice of not providing security updates for computers using Windows 10 operating systems, it is necessary to replace all computers in Town Hall with new computers using Windows 11 operating system. And the request here is for a monetary amount. Hector, this is your agenda item. It has to do with
Our IT service provider,
the service. We can explain a
strongly
little bit more of
recommended
that.
and said
too.
if we do not switch to get computers with Windows 11, then they may cut the contract because it's gonna violate any kind of security regulation, and it's getting us, there's jeopardy that someone could actually access our systems.
And
So-
Windows 10 is no longer going to be providing support
They're not-
after the end of October, correct?
Right, they're gonna stop providing security updates for Windows 10.
So this is just another
I
thing where,
I shopped around too for this, and I had another one that Dell looked at, and then when I went back to Interstate, and then they recommended the devices, the computer that
The
we haven't
M90s?
checked before. The
Yeah,
Lenovo, yes.
yeah. So what was the deciding factor on going with Lenovo?
He said performance, the ease of managing those devices, durability and reliability for that, for the Lenovo's. And I actually have Lenovo's myself, and they're great machines.
It just seems like 900's a lot. I just bought one for my husband and it wasn't.
And the ones that I looked at the Dells, he said no, because he said if we get the Dells that I recommended, he says we'll probably have to end up having replacing those in a couple of years, where these ones, the Lenovo's, will last us at least 5 years. He said.
We hope.
And probably more, he said.
We hope.
Because of what it has in the memory, the CPU powered, the storage has a gigabit. or
Dell's
it has
customer
terabit.
service
Specs on it? There's no specs. on
Dell's customer service sucks.
It does that too.
it. Used to be.
We don't have a choice.
We don't have a choice.
I'll make a motion.
yeah,
I second it.
this is just one of those issues where technology they're leading the way. And we just have to,
Those already emotions.
that's
I'll make a
it.
motion that we approve the $4,481 for the new computers.
Motion on the floor.
I seconded
Joe
it
Deeds.
already. Mhm.
Say that, Danny. Call for the question. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous.
Good.
Thank you, council.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll try and speed things up. We're on number 8. 8, discussion. This has to be,
Number 9.
The 9.
number 9, let's see.
Going
The
to,
formal discussion, council to evaluate, let's see, chief of police evaluation. Council to go into executive session.
Mayor, if I could, I would actually like to make a motion to table number 9 and number 10, because these are written where it's just information and discussion, not action. And so we can't do any kind of evaluation and give like incentives. We can't do
Okay.
any of that in here. So I would like to make a motion that we table these and maybe do a special meeting next Wednesday when the town attorney is available, and take care of both of these on that date.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to table these items, the evaluation of the clerk and the evaluation of chief of police. Motion has been made, the motion has been seconded. I'm gonna call for the question. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. And opposed?
Mike opposed,
Okay,
so 6 to
motion
1.
passed. 6-1. Consent agenda. And number 11, the items set forth are considered to be routine matters and will be enacted by one motion and one roll call vote of the council. There will be no separate discussion on these
hold on,
items.
we need a tip 411.
Pardon?
Number item 11 is tip 411. We need an update on that.
Oh.
Or actually, it's a motion.
Correction?
Number 11.
What happened to Tim?
It's on the amended agenda.
Oh, that's both together.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry.
we're on the wrong agenda.
Okay. Okay, 11.
Oh, did you need it? No, okay.
Rob.
Oh, you got it in there? Okay. All right. You good?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. Anybody else?
Okay, motion
Sorry,
11.
just to-
Item number 11. Police chief to provide an update on progress for TIP 411 and let the council know who is designated as the administrator level 1 that will direct efforts that ensure all action items are completed as required. Town council to discuss and if needed, appoint an administrator for TIP 411. Chief, I yield the floor to you.
Great, thank you, council members. We're in good shape with that. We're set up. I will be the administrator. And I've double checked the system. We show enrolled as far as we can go as far as the software's been developed. I looked at the app. It's not quite finished, but they're still in the construction phase, but we're on board.
Any other questions?
So I actually do. So I'm on the email chains that come in regarding this, and I get like weekly emails, and the emails that I'm getting say that we're not set up, and that the tasks that were sent to you to be completed haven't been completed yet, and that all of the other agencies are set to go, but we're not.
If I may, this is the setup screen. You can see that we're enrolled. I look at forward email chains also. When they're CC'd, you're not getting all the feedback. And as far as the development goes right now, we're set up as you can see. This is tip 411.
Okay. So are you in contact with Tony?
I don't know my first name because I have the email. I'm talking to Darian and his IT people. But I've downloaded the app. It crashed when I logged in. So I set up as far as being set up. And like I double sent an email to you because I could see in the chain that you weren't CC'd in the reply.
Okay.
So there's the half a week of emails that didn't get to you. So
Okay. So I will forward you the most recent email that I got from Darian saying that as far as he sees, nothing's been done.
that was like 3 days ago.
So I'll send that. So you just did that within the last 3 days?
I updated him, but this has been active since like a month ago. I've been part of the system.
Because my understanding is he's getting the information from Tony, who was on the tip 411 thing, who's the guy behind the scenes doing all the IT stuff. So I just want to make sure, because this contract is free, and I don't want us losing it because steps aren't being taken. So I know that we have to have admins
They've got a
listed.
serious communication problem, and I've got the app on my phone right now. I can open it for you when we leave here. It's blank.
Okay.
So they've got tech issues, they've got communication issues.
Well, I don't think
So-
it's live for Pinal County yet, because I think they were waiting on us.
But bottom line, their tech stuff is not functioning.
Okay.
Okay, if their instructions were to download the app and sign in. I've downloaded the app and it's blank. Okay.
And then all of those other steps, you did
Yeah,
all
there
of
were
those other
4.
stuff?
Yeah, there were 4.
Okay. So then maybe what we need to do, Hector, is get a conference call set up with Arizona Youth Coalition, with Tony, and I believe Eric was the name that I was given. Eric, I think. I'll give you the name of who I was given that was in the last email from Darian saying if we needed help to reach out, so that we can get that brought online by the end of this month, so that we're not holding up the rest of Pinal County, and so that we don't lose this grant.
So I do have one more question. There's only one administrator, so if you're out or on vacation,
There's supposed to be more than one.
yeah, have you just designated a secondary administrator?
I certainly, yeah, I could put 5. I mean, the email asked for 1, so.
Okay, well, okay. We probably want to think about doing that,
Sure.
because that way if you take vacation, then someone else is.
But it's digital, I can still interface, but sure.
Okay.
Thank you, Administrator.
Eric is the name of the guy, and I'll forward you this email.
Okay.
And
Who's
then,
Tony?
huh?
Who's Tony then?
Tony is the guy that
But Eric's
that
the one that
works for,
contacted me.
so
That
Eric
name
is,
I know Eric.
Eric is the one that he just in the email today said, hey, can you please work with him to get him set up? And then Tony is the guy that was on the original, that's been on all the original conference calls on tip 411 that we've had. That is the actual like tip 411 higher up that does all of the sales stuff and then does all of the admin stuff. So we have those two people. But let's see if we can't get a conference call set up so that we can get this straightened out before the end of the month.
So we're okay with this agenda item,
He's already-
Yeah, he's a minister. We're good.
Yeah, we need a couple of them, is
Well,
my
I
understanding.
told him that he just needed one.
No, the original email that went out had that he needed to have him. It was gonna be the chief, Hector was gonna be one, and we needed one other, is the email that I seen for the
That fell under
instructions.
the tech support. They wanted to know the IT guy was this Tyler Hall.
So
Oh,
Tyler,
it's
right?
Tyler.
Okay, so it's gonna be you and Tyler and then Hector. And then all of your users are gonna be all of the officers. And then all of the reserves, are they going to be getting their own tip 411 user ID and login?
Yes.
Okay,
And it'll be attached to the department phone. So I took away my chief's phone and I made the department phone.
okay.
So I'll put the app on there and they'll have the different logins.
So you're gonna need a chief phone,
No.
since you're not using that one anymore?
I use
Well,
it for calling like emergency stuff, whatnot, but
but I'm saying if you have a phone that you're using as a department phone for the tip 411, and you're in Mesa and we need to get a hold of you, we don't have a way of getting a hold of you because your chief phone is in Mammoth.
no, you guys call me on my personal phone.
Okay,
It's gonna be-
Well, let us know if you need a phone,
yeah,
From
because
the
the town
town.
should be paying for it.
All right.
because I could get that set up. I can get the phone and get it set up.
It's
If you
been
need that.
easier just calling me direct. I write it off anyway because of my age of my appointment, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So it's item
It's
number
set up-
11
It's set
has
up as a
been.
motion, but what are we voting on?
Well, if it's been corrected, if we know
It's
what's
already
good,
corrected.
we don't need the
Yeah, we
motion.
shouldn't
Yeah.
Because it says if needed,
Ah, got it, okay.
So this is just no action.
No action.
No action on number,
No action.
item number 11. Thank you.
Thank
you all. It's an agenda now. Items set for are considered to be routine matters and will be enacted by one motion, one roll call vote of the council. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a council member, man or woman, requests to do so, in which the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence of events. A, approval of staff recommendations and reports. Clerk report, police report, public works report, library report, accounts payable, meeting minutes. Anybody?
I'd like to pull the police report.
Okay, police report,
Can we pull the town clerk report? I'd like Hector to give us just a 30-second summary of the water project.
Sure.
oh,
Good.
okay,
The town
okay,
clerk, please. Thank you.
okay, town clerk report, when
Okay,
you're ready,
yeah, I think we're in a good spot with can I speak now?
yes,
Okay,
please.
so we're in a good spot with the water project. They can start procurement next month, and it looks like they're gonna break ground in December. The project is gonna go on till August of next year, so it's gonna be a long process. The booster station itself, they're gonna start working that in January, and and it says they'll complete it in February, early part of February.
So they're not starting construction until November?
No, December, I think
They
December
said
13th
October.
is the
They
time.
said they were gonna start in October. What-
I know,
What's
but
up?
now because they gotta start procurement, which is they have to go and
Purchase all this stuff.
exactly, that's gonna take all day. I think they're giving themselves like 30 days to do all that, because that's gonna be a lot of materials that they have to, get hold of.
So when we approved the contract, it was presented to the town that they were going to start breaking ground at the end of this month.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So I don't understand where we went from, we're gonna break ground at the end of October, and now they got the contract and they're like, well, maybe December. I mean, that's not
January.
starting off very good.
no, well, the thing that, what I saw the difference was the procurement. They're spending 30 days for procurement, and it does make sense in larger projects to finding all that material that they need to get. So whether it does take 30 days on that.
Right, so do we have a milestone chart, right? They can do procurement concurrently. They
Yeah,
should be able to start working on trying to identify the roads and you know what I mean?
Okay, I do.
There's stuff they should be working on concurrently,
Yeah.
and that's why I think there's probably some,
Well, I will get back with Bowman
yeah,
and K&G and see if there's any way they could adjust that timeline.
Yeah.
To,
yeah, because
Bump it
that's
up.
not what was promised.
Yeah.
yeah.
And so already right out the gate,
Yeah.
you're breach of contract, because you're saying that you're gonna start breaking ground in October. Now you're saying, December, January, you're already like, that's not how you start off a business relationship. Yeah, like you're actually like doing something actively to start replacing stuff.
So can I make a recommendation that at our next council meeting, we have them come give us an update
Yeah.
and bring the milestone?
Yeah.
We want the project team to come in here and give us a quick update on where we are.
would you like someone from Bowman and K&G?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Both.
Our town's residents were expecting us to be able to have a water project started here, like. in 2
This
weeks.
month.
Yeah,
This month.
Okay.
and so we need them to help understand what's going on.
And I mean, we just had all those big rains. We can't do nothing with the roads. They're just getting worse. We're getting to winter. So what? Now they can't pave because it's too cold outside and it won't set, like,
Come on.
this is BS and I'm not happy.
Okay.
It just,
How
let's
soon do
just
we
have
wanna
them
set
come
up
in,
that
put it
meeting?
as, I'll write up an agenda item after this meeting. Let's put them on.
How soon are we looking at?
Next council meeting, is that okay?
November 20th?
It'll be November, but
Nah,
do you want
I-
to?
That's only a few weeks away
Yeah,
from
we
when
need
it's
to do
supposed to
it
start.
sooner than that because you wait till November 20th. You're already how far in?
Yeah.
Good. January.
Do we
Yeah,
have-
exactly. Like Councilman Barcelo said, for that much, just sit on it. No, I think it needs to be done by like the 1st of November.
Okay, I was gonna say the end of
Because
October.
Yeah.
they promised
Yeah.
that they were gonna start breaking ground at the end of October. So if we schedule a meeting the first week of November, they've got some explaining to do.
Yeah.
So, again, will have to be called a special
Special
meeting,
meeting, yeah.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
It'll be out of
And it
sequence.
should probably be open to the public as a public hearing so that
I
the
believe
public
so.
can
Our
ask
our
questions.
residents
Yeah.
want to know.
I mean,
what's
they're the
going on.
ones fitting the
Yeah.
bill for some of this. I
Yeah.
think
No, I
they
agree with
deserve to
that.
have a say.
Yeah, let our residents hear from the team.
Put them under the firing squad.
Yeah. So, okay, yes, just try and get it as close to the beginning of the month or the end of this
Yeah,
month
I
as
mean,
possible.
I will.
And
Yeah,
the
we'll see
council will
what we
work
get
to try and
today.
make sure we're available. If not, we can call in or whatever, but if we have to have a special meeting, I agree, it's already off track and
Yeah.
we just started, so.
Yeah, true.
I know I'm getting questioned by, folks in my,
Yeah, and, it's like anything, you bid on the length of pipe and overnight, boom, the price changes, so.
Yeah.
There's other things that we control certain things, and there's certain things that you do not control. So
Well, and I
that's
understand,
kinda
but
hard.
like Vice Mayor,
Let's push it as hard as we can.
like Vice Mayor Lewis said, I mean, when you're doing a project, I don't care if the project is
Yeah.
big, you could still be doing some of your procurement
yes.
while
while
you're
you're working.
still doing other things. You could be out marking the pavement with where you're gonna do, I mean, there's so many things that they could be doing to get this project ready, so that as soon as they start getting things in, they know, okay, we're gonna buy these, this is our priority, when these come in, I can start putting these in. There's things that they can be doing, not just sitting back going, well.
Okay.
Cause then you're gonna be, well, the holidays and we're short staffed because everybody's taking off.
I have questions around the holidays.
It's the police report.
They do. They do.
Yeah, all of that stuff could be done in the interim.
Without the baker.
So,
Okay,
so
yeah.
let's,
I'll get
let's
some-
get them in here and have them give us an update on where we're
Okay,
going.
he's gonna do
That's
that.
good, thank you.
Anything else?
Move on, let's move on.
Public work report, is that it?
No, that was
Police
a
report.
town clerk report.
Yeah, that was
Was there
town
anything on the town clerk report?
Pardon me.
No. Okay.
Public works
Thank you.
report,
Police report.
No, so the only other one that we
Police
pulled was
report.
the police report.
That's it.
okay.
And so, I have questions. So I know you and I spoke on the phone, just so the members of the audience know, we were made aware on September 30th that PCSO is not going to be providing active patrol of the town of Mammoth any longer. They will still respond to assist as needed in emergencies, but otherwise will not be within town limits. I know I spoke to you earlier and you said that they are not in town hardly ever actively patrolling.
No, that they were not going to be.
But you're saying, when I talked to you earlier, you said that they have not been actively covering Mammoth, like, except for 2 times this year, they haven't been
Yeah,
covering
the
shifts.
question was, were they covering a shift for us?
So they are
They're
covering,
not covering any shifts for us. Maybe twice this year. We have somebody call it sick.
okay, so can you, I guess I'm kind of lost then, and I know that my question, I'm not the only one with this question. So can you explain to us, if they haven't been actively patrolling in Mammoth and covering shifts in Mammoth, why all of a sudden they need to formally put us on notice?
So there's a lot of misstatements there. A shift is when someone comes on duty, like at 6 a.m. to midnight. It's different than actively patrolling. A shift is different than that, okay? So they're not covering shifts in Mammoth. They never have been. They covered 2 emergencies, somebody called out sick. That's a shift.
So what are they doing?
Hold on. So actively patrolling is what they've been doing, okay? You've seen them on the highways here. You see them in town. They have been actively patrolling Mammoth. And they respond to emergency calls for service, like a priority 1 type situation. This information, this lieutenant is no longer going to have them actively patrolling this area. He wants them further out in the unincorporated areas.
Do you have the email that was sent to you that tells you this? I would like to see that.
It was a meeting. He came over here at 7:30 in the morning. That's the first time I ever met him.
So I will just explain what I know, and then you can correct me if I'm wrong, but please do it respectfully, because you're a little disrespectful right there. So with,
Is there a second on that motion? No?
With the way that you're talking about, they've never been actively patrolling inside of Mammoth. When the previous chief was here, they never actively patrolled and responded to town of Mammoth calls. They only responded to town of Mammoth calls in the event of a emergency, and they were backup. So you're saying they're not actively clocking in and patrolling this area, but you're saying they're patrolling this area. So I'm super confused, because if they're responding actively to a town of Mammoth call and a Mammoth police officer is not responding to that call, that's exactly covering town of Mammoth shifts. They may not be clocked in and covering this area for the entire 12 hours, but if they're responding to, I'll just give you your incident in Little Hollywood. Wow. So in the incident in Little Hollywood, if we've got a sheriff's deputy that's there before a town of Mammoth police officer, I don't know when that changed, because it was never like that with the previous chief. It was always, we provide backup, but I keep hearing more and more and more that PCSO is getting 2 calls before Mammoth police officers. And so now we're getting a letter or a conversation that's basically your word and his word, but he's not here to actually confirm your word. But we're getting that, and it's being said that they're no longer going to actively patrol, but they're actively responding to calls that come in. So I don't understand. You're not answering the question. You're trying to dodge it, and I'm not understanding why.
I'm cleaning up. You misuse the terminology. Being dispatched to a call is not a shift. Okay. So
why is PCSO being dispatched to a shift or to a call in Mammoth before a Mammoth police officer?
So they respond, or we respond. We back up at San Manuel.
Correct.
If there's a priority 1 or priority 2 call here, it usually requires more than 1 officer.
Right. Domestic violences, gun shootings, things
there's
like
only
that.
1 officer on duty here.
Right.
So therefore, where did the second officer come from? Pinal County. And it's
Right.
always been that way. Even you mentioned the old administration just now.
Mm-hmm.
You referenced that. Okay. I was a full-time sergeant here during that time. It's no different then than it is now. It's the exact same setup. They were augmenting us. We backed up to San Manuel and whatnot. Okay. That's the way it's always been. They've done warrant operations here. They look for warrant. The patrol teams are here all the time. They were, they still are, until this thing. As far as that Hollywood incident goes, there was a senior officer involved, he's been in for 10 years. They did not have an issue with his response time. They had an issue with what they termed was his handling of the incident, his officer safety, okay? That was their issue with it. But this is one incident that they're pointing at in a subjective manner over the course of probably a year or so. The real issue is county is retracting coverage. They're doing the same thing in Kearney. They're doing the same thing in Winkleman and Superior. I pull up this GPS map right now, like I just showed Bill, because I knew this was coming. And the nearest county unit, there's one in San Manuel and one in Oracle. There's none in Mammoth, none in Winkleman, none in Dudleyville, none in Kearney. This is an active GPS, and none in Superior. Okay, because San Juan Valley is consuming a lot of their manpower. So they're shifting their focus that way, and they're not going to actively patrol, according to what I was told, that. Okay, an active patrol is different than a call for service.
So I understand what you're saying, that it's different, and I'm not arguing with you over that, but what I am saying is that you just referenced that this incident was mentioned in this conversation. So if that incident was mentioned in this conversation, what was relayed to me was that they were not able to get a hold of the chief in this incident that we're talking about, that they tried and they were not able to reach the chief, and that this was not the first that has ever happened with the new chief, that this is something that happens quite frequently, and that's why they made the decision to only back up Mammoth in the event of an emergency.
So tell me who this they is. Who is this they?
I don't need to tell. So what? You can go and cause problems?
Is it?
It's PCSO.
Is it a dispatcher? Because I've got no phone call records. I was told about the incident, but I wasn't asked to come out. Okay, so I wasn't aware of the incident. I don't get dispatched from where I live in East Valley to calls that are active out here.
So let me ask you a question. Do you not think that as the chief, in the event of a shooting, I mean, you say that you've been a sergeant with the town of Mammoth now for over a year, right? A year and what, 8, 9 months, 10 months now, according to you? So you've been a sergeant with the town of Mammoth for almost 2 years. That means in that period of time, how many shootings have you responded to? Or how many shootings have you actually heard of happening in the town of Mammoth in the span that you've been here? Not counting when you weren't here, just since you've been an officer. It's not something, would it be fair to say that it's not something that happens all the time? That it's a pretty big deal if there's a drive-by shooting in Mammoth? Is that fair to say?
Okay, first of all, there was an investigation in progress. It was being handled fine. Okay, we had suspects identified. We had shell casings recovered. Okay, so I did take that phone call. I was called that night, and I provided feedback to the investigation. I can do that remotely.
So, but you're not answering my question. I asked you.
I don't remember how many shootings have been here. I don't know.
I asked you if you don't think that that's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
You don't think that a chief, so I think this is where the disconnect comes in, because it seems like you're very indifferent when it comes to the town of Mammoth being your town. Like, most chiefs are very prideful over the town that they run. And this is my town and I want to be a part of it. And what goes on here is important to me. To me, if hearing a drive-by shooting, I'm not the chief, but as a taxpayer, that was pretty important to me to find out that there had been a drive-by shooting in my town. I understand you don't live here. I understand you live in Mesa. I understand it's a far away. But that's why you've got a take-home vehicle with lights and sirens on it.
Right.
Is so that you can come to Mammoth in times like this when something big is going on. Because I understand you said it was a senior officer that had been here 10 years, but can you honestly sit there and tell me it would have been different if it would have been our other officer? Would you have got in your car and driven from Mesa to Mammoth with lights and sirens to be here for that? Or would you have left it and just dictated and determined over the phone what they needed to do?
So in the hour and a half time it would take to get here, or an hour, code run, 45 minutes, whatever. There's nothing different that would have happened in terms of the investigation. Shell casings were recovered, witnesses were interviewed, the victims were interviewed, okay? All those things still occurred.
So you're saying you wouldn't have come out?
In this last incident, I
Yes.
didn't come out.
No, I know you didn't come out for this incident, but I'm saying you cited to the fact that it was because you had a 10-year officer on the force. So I'm asking you, you have a take-home vehicle for specific incidences like this. If it had been our rookie officer, our guy that has been here for just a couple of years, would you have gotten in your car and drove out? And from
Yes.
the answer that you just said,
Of
you
course.
wouldn't have,
No.
because the shell casings would have been recovered and the investigation, the witnesses would have already been talked to, and all of these things would have happened. Is that not what
If
you
that
said?
officer sounded confused and not knowing what to do, that would come out, absolutely.
But if the officer's talking to you and you're telling him what to do and he's like, yeah, okay, I got it. Whether he's been on the force for 10 years or whether he's been on the force for 6 months, you're not coming out, is what you're saying.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Me coming out would have changed nothing, okay? If it happens again next week, giving your feedback, I'll come out. But bottom line, there were no injuries, no arrests were required to be made, there's no probable cause for arrest, and all the evidence in play was recovered.
There was no injuries.
Correct.
No injuries to who?
Nobody was shot.
Somebody was shot. Somebody was shot.
Well, they didn't tell the police. that
Yes,
night.
they did. Yes, they did. I talked to your officer. Yes, they did. Somebody was shot. Yes. And so I can understand.
Who was transported to the hospital?
Does it matter if they were transferred to the hospital or not? Somebody was shot. Lieutenant Zovo has cited this incident and the lack of communication and interagency work with the current chief as part of the reason why they're not wanting to work with us anymore. You don't think that that's a problem?
This
We
is the
have
first I've
always
heard of
had
this.
a
This is
very
the first-
good.
This was the first time Zoppo and I ever spoke. So him telling you that we're not working together is news to me, because this was the very first
I
time I ever
haven't
met
talked to him. I've talked to someone else at PCSO. It wasn't
All
him.
these days and someone else. So we need to have a meeting.
You don't, yeah, we do, because you don't even, the fact that you don't even know that somebody was shot at a call that you
No,
refused to go to
Nobody
is
was
a
shot.
problem.
Nobody was shot or
Yeah,
transported
okay,
that night.
you know what, we
Vice
had
Mayor-
enough, let's get.
Vice Mayor Lewis attended a meeting where it was confirmed by your officer that someone was shot. Your officer confirmed in a meeting the other night with me and the mayor that someone was shot at that call. Whether they got into an ambulance and drove themselves somewhere else, or whether they denied medical treatment and they drove themselves to the hospital, or they did whatever they needed to do, that's irrelevant. The fact of the matter that I'm making is this is a problem.
EMS was problem.
And they treated a patient on the scene for a gunshot
They did.
out of the mouth of your officer. There's a lack of communication between officers of the sheriff's department and officers of the town of Mammoth, and I don't know why, but we need to work on this, because as a resident, not as a council member, but as a resident, I am highly concerned, because my fear is this: what happens if you're in I don't know, you get some kind of flu or something that knocks you on your butt and you're not able to come into work, right? You don't have coverage. So we've always been able to call PCSO and say, hey, you know what? I don't have any coverage. I can't get a reservist in there. Can you guys please cover the town of Mammoth? And they've always been like, yeah, we got you. Don't worry about it, brother. We've got you covered. And now, because of handling of this situation and other situations that have happened in the past, they're like, no, hard line in the sand. You're on your own. And that's
not
a
true.
problem.
We have an existing IGA that says differently. That's
Yeah, you
what-
have an existing IGA because of the radios,
they-
but that's
they-
not for coverage.
they-
That's for the radios and the dispatch.
They are still obligated to provide service to the county
Radios and
in this
dispatch.
area.
Radios and dispatch.
Their obligation to provide coverage for Pinal County in this town does not change.
That's true.
We have a problem.
We probably need to
Yeah.
have a meeting.
Separate meeting.
Yeah.
Separately.
Okay, okay. We don't go into- Okay, this is
I
just
will
the
make the
police
motion
report.
that we approve the approval of staff recommendations and reports, accounts payable for payment and filing, budget expenditures, and the minutes.
I second it.
Motion on the floor. Mike, you second.
Yeah.
In favor of motion?
Aye.
None opposed? Okay, motion carried.
Consent agenda,
15.
council comments,
Council
that's it,
comments.
right?
Item 14, comments. Any comments from the council members?
Al, you can.
I just wanted to thank the chief for catching those drugs up there in Hinsel. There was a drug dealers up there. Been out there for a long time. It was finally caught.
Thank you.
Now, we got a lot of work to do.
We have more.
Right, yeah,
They're coming in like flies out in the little tunnel habit.
yeah.
What, pardon you?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I know. Okay. I was gonna give you the floor. Go ahead. Go
Wait, you're
ahead.
talking about flies?
The drug,
Just said it.
the drug is, I mean, the drug is.
Oh, the drug is flies. Oh, okay. Too much manure.
Okay, Irene, nothing? Julian,
No, I'm good, thank you.
Joe?
No.
Mike?
No.
Ed?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. I want to be a little bit positive, and one of the things that, I just want to say that, the Silver Jackets, to try and get that material, they had a nice flyer about who they are. They're the flood control people. I'm documenting this. I learned that, with, new technology and the phones, you can document stuff. So I think we had a good walk around with Public Works, the clerk. And the thing about this, that's, I want to merge this with some other comments, is that I'm getting kind of concerned over this federal shutdown. I'm very concerned, folks. I think we all are. One other thing is that, like the rains and the flooding, the homeowners need to do their part. When there is the rains and what have you, I think, you can sandbag so much, but some of the water that's running off, some of that is property owner runoff that needs to be addressed on the property side. The right of way of the town, we can address that on some of the stuff. I think that one of the things that I would suggest, it'll probably come with time, is maybe we can get to the point where we can get a shredder back in our yard department, and we can take some of the shreddings and use that mulch, and we can have it as a pile, so if people want to use it to help their erosion problem, we do have the grounded up, used mulch and the asphalt, pea gravel and all that. That's made available. The Highway 77, we continue on the clearing out the brush. During the walk around, the guy did say that one of the areas off of Fifth where we have the runoff, he said, it'd be a good idea to start filling that in. Because if you guys remember, and if you look around town, you're gonna see where some flood control was put in when they replaced the old Highway 77. So they had taken into mind some of these earthen made dams, because between the cemetery and the swimming pool area, you will see there's even a park up there. A lot of people don't know that there's a park.
Yeah.
There's a fitness trail and all that, but below it, there's that area that's one of the main runoff areas. And the guy's gonna advise us, but he did say this is an area that you all can start filling it in on your own. And then it goes back to, if we do something on our own, it strengthens our argument because to ask for some of these agencies to help us out and say, hey, we're working on this, we're doing some mitigation on our own, on erosion, or what have you, we need some help. And we start making these applications for
Couldn't they take
assistance.
the stuff that's out there at the landfill now and put it in that area, even though it's not completely mulched?
I think so. I think the
I
guy's
mean, I would
saying,
think, could you guys not do that?
we'd have to look.
I know you're busy with the water project.
But.
And, just to make sure, we haven't, some of these discussion items, like the park and all that, we'll do our homework and our due diligence, but I think that we're pretty much wanting to enhance the Cedar Reefs Park. The senior league field is a good candidate for some other stuff, but it's like I say, we got some HERF money. We could do that. Any place where you're gonna attract people, you gotta do the road. And we do have some road money. So we will have do our homework and study and have a good discussion and get some ideas and feedback on the parks and all that. I think that's all I want to say. And another thing, where we are with P and Z, if we could fast track, there was a zoning request on there. If we could do some little bit of fast track on
I'm working
on
on
an
it.
issue.
I've got a meeting set up tomorrow, actually. They were having a big meeting tonight, so he had no time for me today at all, but.
Yeah, because one of the things is that when we all know about this is that the school property being a candidate to be rezoned, and then a business wants to go in there, and this is something that will help us
Somebody bought it?
Not yet.
after rezoning. You know,
We're working on getting it
Rezone.
Sell
rezoned.
it to a business, but they won't sell it back to us.
Yeah, that's,
What's up with that?
yeah.
That's our.
I say we don't rezone it.
Cool.
I say we don't rezone
Well,
it.
this is-
Yeah, we're gonna get the
this
final
is
say.
Oh,
only the
good.
comments, we can't
Mhm.
say we
Good.
are.
But.
I'm just saying is that that's just one issue. Okay, I think we've done
We're done.
pretty good.
We're done.
Just one more thing
One more
about
item.
the school. I talked to that attorney today, and I told him that as soon as we could do maybe the November 20th council meeting, we could have.
Cause I need
a
research, I need more
presentation.
research time.
You can come and give us some information to the council, and the council, at that point, if we want to make it a motion, then we can decide what we want to do moving forward. Do we want to proceed with the process of him going and taking that property over, or else we just, say no?
Well, I don't want to say because
It's
it's,
council comment.
I'm under council comments, but there's
I'm sorry to
some more to this.
More
Okay.
later.
More later, but it'll be good, guys.
I make a motion, we adjourn at 8:05.
8:05, second.
Motion made, seconded. Well, let's go. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Telling them about a resident that came to me that was watching
Yes.
a neighbor's house, and he got broken. And he knew exactly what was.
I'm gonna
And I was really disappointed.
make some
This
phone
makes sure
calls.
one of the